The tech job market right now, it absolutely sucks. And if you've been applying to cybersecurity jobs for months and getting nothing but rejections and radio silence, you're not imagining it. This is genuinely the worst job market most industry veterans have ever seen. I've been working in cybersecurity for over a decade and I've helped dozens of people break into this field. And today I'm going to show you the brutal truth about what's really happening and the strategies that are actually working right now. And the biggest shift that you need to make is something that most people are completely ignoring, and it's the difference between getting lost in the pile and actually getting interviews. So stick around. And if you want to shortcut all of this and work with me directly to land that six-figure remote job in cybersecurity, then go to the link down in the description below and book a call. And one of the sad, unfortunate things that I see a lot in talking to people trying to break into cybersecurity today is they feel like they're not good enough or like they're not cut out for it and everything like that because none of the recruiters will give them the time of day. They apply to these jobs and they want people with more experience, and the job postings just look impossible. But here's the things that a lot of people don't see, and that is that AI has drastically impacted this job market. And the way that it has is that, if you were to go back 5 or 6 years ago, it was, a lot more manual to apply to these jobs. For one thing, maybe there was easy apply, right? There was a lot of people that would apply to those, but you could easily find jobs out there that didn't have the easy apply. And if you just went through the manual process of applying to those jobs, then you had a lot better chance. And that's why we used to talk about the spray and pray method, where it's like, hey, if you just run enough volume, if you just apply to enough jobs, eventually you'll get one that'll give you the time of day. And that's great, right? Just play the numbers game. Well, the numbers game is not really viable anymore, and it's because of AI. You see, one of the main challenges is that these AI application tools have flooded the market. So now even the jobs that before would require all this manual stuff to apply to, they have 1,000+ applicants per posting because there's these AI automated tools that are auto applying to these jobs for people and just spamming their resumes out. Nowadays, everyone is spamming their resumes out. And nowadays, there's also a huge advent of people straight up lying on their resumes and lying on their LinkedIn profiles and things like that. And this has been a huge issue for these companies. And so the reality is you're not even competing against just humans anymore. You're competing against bots. And that just leads me into the second challenge, which is the competition isn't even real, like I was saying. And I don't even mean just the bots. There's also a lot of exaggerated or completely fake applications as well. I've been talking to a lot of hiring managers, various companies, and they were saying one of the biggest issues is that the HR team will flood their interview schedule with all these candidates that have like these too good to be true resumes, these like perfect looking resumes. And then they jump on the interview with the person and they find out like within like 30 seconds, yeah, this person fabricated all of this. They have no idea what they're doing. It's like really apparent when you're a professional in the field, but if you're like an HR person or something, then a lot of times they are falling for these. And honestly, a lot of people would fall for them because they're using, AI and different things to make their resume look absolutely perfect. And these are the people that you are competing up against. Not only that, like I was saying, with these tools, they're able to apply hundreds of jobs a day, and you're manually trying to apply to these jobs perhaps, or maybe you're using some of these tools and also not seeing much success because you're spraying and praying and doing the numbers game, and you're just not getting a lot of traction off of that. And this is exactly why qualified candidates get lost in the noise. The reality is that we can't entirely pin this on the HR people. I know like a lot of people like to use that as the punching bag, and I've definitely been guilty of that before too. But the reality is like these HR people wouldn't have time to manually review the resumes just at the sheer volume of applications they're getting for these job postings. It would be an unreasonable ask. So, I mean, they have to use, just as the people applying are using the AI, they also have to use the AI just so they can have a chance of getting through all the applications and somehow sorting through it. So the system that we have, I believe, is here to stay. So the best thing to learn is, okay, how can we navigate this, which is what exactly I'm going to get into. So I know that's just the frustrating truth. It's probably not what you want to hear. I mean, it's definitely not what you want to hear, but you actually might be more qualified than 80% of the applicants, but no one will ever know because of how you have things structured. for a number of reasons that we'll get into. And still today, a large portion of the hiring is happening through referrals and in-network. So especially like if you think about it, where the companies that are putting these job postings up, they're overwhelmed. The HR department is super overwhelmed by all these fake resumes and all the AI spam and all the stuff. If they find someone that's in network, someone that's referred by another person that they know, like, and trust, they're going to have a huge leg up, a huge advantage. And if they find someone in-house, right, if it's someone already in the company, they're going to look internally first, and they're going to use a lot of these job postings only if they really need someone. They can't find anyone through those means. So if you don't have that, you're already kind of on your back foot, and you're going to have to play the automated filter lottery. And with this automated filter lottery, we're really talking about the ATS systems, the automated tracking scanners. And they're absolutely terrible. I think we all know this, but it's like the best that we've got kind of thing. And this is why your resume gets rejected before human eyes even see it. So it's a keyword game, and it's changing constantly. And it's like, if you don't have these keywords, then you're not even going to be considered. A human's not even going to look at your resume. Or in some cases, if you have certain keywords, you're automatically excluded. So it's a really brutal game, and it's really annoying for, I think, everyone. And that's why it's literally this chance-based thing at this point. What is the solution to this, right? We talked a lot about problems in this video. Well, you need to create what I call a job offer engine. You need a system that can completely flip the script and position you so well that you'll have recruiters reaching out to you. Rather than you having to rely on winning this rigged lottery-based system. I know that can sound easier said than done, but the reality is, if you can establish yourself so that you're known in the community, if you have some inside connects, if you have the things that the employers are actually looking for, then that's going to make all the difference. Because if you don't know, right? Because if you're watching this video, it might be kind of going blind right now, where you're like, well, by the way, this is how a lot of people think, maybe you resonate with this. You'll apply to a bunch of jobs, and you'll either get ghosted or just get rejection letters saying you don't have enough, this, that, and the other. And then you think, okay, well, these current certifications I have, okay, that's not enough. What if I get this certification too? And then you get that, and then you apply more, and then you get the same thing, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you just keep moving the goalposts. You're like, if I get this, this, and this, and this, and this. But what you don't understand is you're just kind of choosing these things blindly rather than choosing it based on what the employees are actually looking for. Now, unfortunately, take it for what it is. One of the most impactful things you can have in the current job market is experience. That is what they're looking for, someone that has experience. And that can be the chicken and the egg problem. How can you gain experience without having experience, right? Well, there are some things that you can do. So if you know people that are software developers, people that are building apps, you can leverage that network, that relationship with them, to offer up a pen testing service. Like, let's say you want to get into the offensive side. That's what I did when I was first navigating this, obviously in a much different job market back then, but that was something that very much helped me out quite a lot. But you need to build this engine that is armed with these things, identifying these kind of areas, things that they are absolutely looking for, rather than just relying on this chance-based thing where you're guessing and you're being like, oh, well, this cert, that cert. If I had all these certs, there's no way. And this is also, by the way, the reason that people will go for their master's degree. And by the way, after that, a lot of times they will talk to me and they'll say, hey, I got my master's, or I'm about to get my master's, and I still have no idea what I'm going to do for a job. And yeah, it could be easy all those years before to think, okay, well, if I have the master's, no doubt I'm going to get a job. But that's actually not been what I've seen. I've seen a lot of people have those masters, and the company's like, okay, cool, you would be good for these upper management roles, but you have no experience, so why would we hire you for that? So you got to kind of put yourself in their shoes as well and see what are those high impact things, and developing the system around that. In doing so, here's the things that I would be thinking about. Number one, how can we flip the script and make the opportunities come to you? That is the essence of the job offer engine, something that I have personally helped people install in their own portfolios and in their own job search in order to make this happen. But if you don't have the job offer engine, what are some things you can do now in order to maximize your success in this job market? Well, you want to be looking at, what does your online presence look like? Are you known in the cybersecurity communities? Are you known in these spaces where, opportunities may arise? And also, even if you're not, do you have like a solid LinkedIn? Like, let's start there. Do you have some stuff for your portfolio. And I'm not just talking about the generic stuff that everyone has, like basic projects and everything, but do you have actual professional assets in your portfolio that can show that you'd be able to do the job? So what I highly recommend for this, write some reports. If you want to get into pen testing, write some pen testing reports. If you want to get into the defensive side, like maybe forensics, write some forensics reports and get those reviewed by professionals in the field, people that have actually done it, people that have seen the professional reports. Because look, in the beginning, I had some pen testing reports and I thought they were good, but when I got them reviewed, I quickly realized like, oh no, these actually suck. Like when I entered the field and I started to see like what the actual professional ones look like, I quickly realized that it looks a lot different than pretty much all those like template reports out there online. Now that I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of these, it's very easy for me to tell, but back then I just didn't know what I didn't know. So I would highly recommend, do not skip this step, get it reviewed by someone that is a professional in the field, get it polished, because I guarantee you if you do that, and that report ever gets in front of someone that's actually in the weeds doing cybersecurity, they will notice it as well. It will stand out to them. You want to be networking strategically within your chosen path. So find people that are doing what you want to do, network with them. But here's the kicker, here's the key to this. You want to network in a way that shows that you're not trying to extract from people, because if you're just networking with people to try to get from them, take from them, they're going to pick up on that. They're not going to want to help you. They're not going to want to work with you. So if you come at it from the approach of like complete outcome independence, you're just giving value and just building connections and you're not trying to get anything from them. That's what makes all the difference. And I think people that don't understand that, that's why they think networking is cringe and all that stuff. Because yeah, done in the wrong way, networking is absolutely cringe. And that's exactly why they say like the best time to build a network is when you don't need the network. So wherever you are in your journey right now, just start today building the network. This is something that you can't do in a pinch. You really have to take a long-term approach to something like networking, but it can have some huge payoffs if done well. And also you want to position yourself as someone who gets results. So think about that in everything that you do. So that's like, when you're building your online presence, that's what you want to be able to showcase. You may have the skill, right? You may be 80% more qualified than, everyone else out there. But if you don't do a good job of showcasing that, then no one's going to know that. So you need to position yourself as someone that actually gets results. When it comes to applying to jobs, I would highly recommend to, if you're doing the numbers game strategy, rethink that. Do a quality over quantity approach. So submit targeted applications rather than just, throwing it up at the wall for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, because the job market is so much different now. The number one key mistake that I see most people make is that they just want a cybersecurity job. So they just position themselves super generically. They're a great fit for a lot of cybersecurity jobs, but the perfect fit for none of them. So they just lose out to everyone who's a perfect fit. If you think about 1,000 applicants, chances are there's someone that's going to be more targeted of a fit than you. And so that person's going to get the job and you're not. So just consider that. Think about the other side. Think about the job that you're applying for. Why would they hire you? You really want to target your role. And even if you are okay with having multiple roles, or, you're open to multiple different roles in cybersecurity, really target in the application, submit a quality application that will have the best chance, without lying, of course. But if it's something that you can do, if there's skills that you have, just tweak your resume to highlight those skills so that you have a better chance of landing that interview in the first place. So if you'd like me to help you directly get up and running with the job offer engine to shortcut this entire process, then go down to the link in the description below and book a call.